Zach and I have opinions about Wind and Truth. If you've read it, you've got opinions too. But do you have the right opinions? Oh my goodness. I'm seeing a lot of disdain online for Wind and Truth, Brandon Sanderson's most recent book. I'm also seeing a lot of love for it. And I almost feel like it's the US presidential election all over again. Sheesh. People, here's the solid truth. Sanderson wrote a book. A book. It's a work of fiction. And as such, it is his effort to tell another component of both the story he's created for his Stormlight Archive series and his larger multi series arching story of the Cosmere. He's also hoping to sell a lot of books, as Sanderson makes a living doing this, writing and selling books. Now, I don't know Brandon Sanderson. I've never met him. I have read about him, I've watched some of his videos, and I've read every one of his Cosmere books, as well as a few of his other published works. So, what I'm going to say here is not directly out of the horse's mouth. Sanderson didn't tell me this, but it's generally true of any fiction author. Sanderson is trying to be true to the story he's made up in his head, while also putting out content he believes most of his fans will enjoy and will want to talk about with others. That's how it works for successful authors. They seek to be true to their own ideas while serving them up in a manner that will be embraced by the majority of their readers. Any successful enough author also knows you're not going to please all of the people all of the time. And with our global society, our modern culture, having become so diverse and indeed polarized on many issues, a book like Wind and Truth can't possibly deliver in a manner that makes everyone happy. I read the book. I mostly enjoyed the story. I didn't care for the pacing of the first third of the book, but that was actually true with my opinion of the pacing of the first three books in the series. I mean, book 4, Rhythm of War, that just worked for me pacing wise all the way through. And I know not everyone agrees with that. Again, with Wind and Truth, I have issues with certain elements of the story. The biggest being the love relationship between two of the primary male characters that felt, for me, like it came out of nowhere in this book and was being shoehorned into the story. I didn't like that, nor did I need that element of the story. But that's my opinion. It doesn't cause me to dislike the book, or to go on a rant about Sanderson's incorrect choices or going all woke or whatever other kind of nonsense. It's his book, it's his call. I get to decide what I like or don't like about it. That's my call. But talking with others, I know some absolutely love the elements of the story that I don't care for. We're all different. We all bring different life experiences and preferences to what we read, and it impacts how we feel about what we read. That's perfectly normal. Where people online are failing today is when they decide they have the only right opinion on topics like fantasy fiction. My son gives Wind and Truth a 5 out of 5-star rating. It may be right now his single favorite book of fantasy fiction he's ever read. For him, that's the right opinion. I don't agree, but I still rate it 4 out of 5. Sanderson added huge elements to the Stormlight Archive and the Cosmere narratives that I really enjoyed. And that's why I read fiction, to get caught up in a story and get taken on an amazing ride. I don't have to philosophically agree with every decision an author makes in order to enjoy a book. We don't control authors. If we did, George R. R. Martin would have finished A Song of Ice and Fire 10 years ago. And we don't control what others think about books and their authors. We only control our own opinions, and sometimes we struggle with that. And we do control what we choose to do moving forward based on our opinions. For example, if Wind and Truth is just garbage to you, then decide to stop buying and reading Brandon Sanderson books. because who likes reading garbage? But get off of trying to prove to everyone else that they should also quit buying and reading Sanderson's books. They don't have to agree with you. Your opinion is right for you, it's valid, but we're talking fantasy fiction, not matters of life or death. People who disagree with you aren't idiots, aren't fools, aren't bad people. They're not hurting anyone. They're simply enjoying their right to their own opinion, one that works for them and works for you. You get to have your own opinion, but it's yours. One of our viewers commented that he can't take our channel seriously if Zach is going to give Wind and Truth 5 out of 5 stars. Our viewers have every right to disagree with our opinions and our content. And in fact, I encourage people that if they find they're consistently not agreeing with our takes in our videos, then our channel probably isn't their cup of tea. And that's okay. It doesn't mean Zach's wrong. He has reasons for his 5 out of 5 stars. I mean, I'm his father. I can tell him he's wrong. But even when I do, it's in fun because I respect his right to have wrong opinions. Another viewer was surprised and baffled that I put out an episode just recently for those of you who want a break from the Cosmere. The response was like, why? And again, if you love the Cosmere and that's all you need, you're getting everything you want out of fantasy fiction from Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere books, that's awesome. But some people see things differently. Some are getting burned out. Some really didn't like Wind and Truth and want something new. So we're all different. We all react to things differently, and that's all perfectly acceptable when we're talking about fantasy fiction. Sometimes, as fans, we lean too far into fans' root word, fanatics. We lose our minds a little. Try to work on that. And remember, you only control you. Stop trying to control everyone else. It does not work. It only brings you more irritation and frustration, and none of us need that. You don't need that. My last take for you today, and this is a more serious note than anything I've said so far. I have zero respect for trying to disparage or otherwise bring down Brandon Sanderson as a person. That's wrong. He's a professional author with the right to sell his books the way he wants to, but they are still just fictional literature. If you want to write or make videos about the things you don't like about his book or books, that's fine. Share your opinions with all the gusto you choose, but stop making it personal about Brandon. And don't pretend you can read his mind and fully understand his intentions, because you can't and you don't. If you're done, just done with Sanderson, don't buy any more of his books. That's fine. But don't be smearing him all over the internet. It's so wrong. It's not how people should be. Do better. Please. Okay, there's my opinion for today. What do you think? We put out content here because we're trying to engage on topics we enjoy and love. This was one of my more serious ones, but if you appreciated the thoughts I shared here, I'd still value getting a like. Let me know. And consider subscribing to our channel. If you have counter opinions to what I've shared here today, put them down in the comments. Just be respectful, and I'll be happy to dialogue with you. I will respond to every respectful comment that's there. And if you don't listen to me and you put down trashy comments, well, I have a delete button. And if you want to give me affirmation, you're like, yeah, Jim, thank you. We need a little more sanity like this. I'll take those comments too. And thank you for the support. All right, that's where I'll leave you today. Thanks for watching and for thinking about this. We'll talk to you next time.